Hey, what's up guys? I'm BTC. There was just a giant 1 GB patch on the PTR, but there is almost nothing in the game to actually show for it. That leads me to believe that there's probably a lot of really secret stuff that is in this patch that's not going to be enabled until BlizzCon next week. And the most likely is a brand new character. I'm guessing that hero number 26 was just added to the PTR. We just don't have access to it yet. So there are a bunch of other things that were documented and some things that were not documented, so let's run through it. So, alright, so there is some undocumented stuff that has changed in this patch, and I'm going to show you all of that in just a second. But all of the patch notes that have all the bug fixes and all the undocumented changes that I'm about to show you, none of that could possibly add up to 1 GB worth of changes. The only thing I can think of is if they added a new map or a new character, and my bet would definitely be on a new character. BlizzCon is next week. Last year, they announced Sombra because it's a really big event. BlizzCon is basically like the biggest event of the year for Blizzard. It's their own convention. It's where they announce all of their gigantic news and stuff. I cannot imagine them going through a BlizzCon and not announcing a new character for Overwatch. I just don't see it happening. Now, in addition to the BlizzCon stuff, there is something on the PTR right now that makes me think it's going to be a hero and not something like a new map or a new game mode. The reason, let's go to play, go to the arcade, is this right here. The 6v6 no limits. This is the game mode that Blizzard puts in the arcade every single time there is a new character that they're testing on the PTR. Why do they do this? Well, because if it's in quick play, then that means only one person from each team is allowed to use that new character. In the arcade, for 6v6 no limits, you can have both teams with 6 of the new character because everybody wants to play it. So this, I think, the fact that BlizzCon is next week, plus the 6v6 no limits, this is a pretty good indicator that that 1 GB file that we just got for the PTR has the hidden data for hero number 26. Alright, so let me show you the stuff that was actually added in this patch. This is it right here. This is the entirety of the patch notes for that 1 GB patch we just got. It's nothing but a bunch of minor bug fixes. Like, look at this. Fix the bug that prevented player portraits from loading in the hero select screen. That's not 1 GB worth of patches. Fix the bug that prevented players from adding spectators to a deathmatch game. Again, that is definitely not 1 gig worth of patch. You can go through the entire list of stuff here. There's no way all that stuff adds up to 1 gig. Alright, so let's go over the undocumented changes because for whatever reason, Blizzard doesn't know how to properly write patch notes. So the first thing isn't like game-breaking, it's just kind of disappointing that it's going away. I hope it's accidental and it wasn't on purpose. So what I'm showing you right now, this is the live version of the game, okay? This is not the PTR, this is the live version of the game. If you go into your highlight section, and then you click on anything here, and then quickly exit out of it, you can change what your home background looks like, right? You can change the map, you can change the characters. In this case, the map isn't changing because it's a special event and it's always going to show that one. But under normal circumstances, it would change everything. And you could use this to, like, take screenshots or go into the hero gallery to find, like, specific backgrounds for different characters that you want to do, like, a little recording or something like that. You know, there's a lot of different reasons you could do it. But now, on the PTR, which is where I am right now, if you go into the highlights and then you click on this and go back, it doesn't change anything, which is really disappointing. There's still ways that you can change this. You basically have to go into a game or you can go into the practice range or something. It's just longer and more annoying. It's just kind of sad to see that go away because it was a really easy way to like quickly change the background. I don't know why Blizzard doesn't let us just change the background and the character to whatever we want anyways, right? Like, why can't we just change it to what we want it to be? Whatever. Anyways, so I'm in the practice range right now. Again, this is the PTR, and you'll notice that Roadhog is disabled. I don't think there's any sort of super secret conspiracy theory with this particular thing. I think it just has to do with the fact that Roadhog was causing some problems, there was some bugs related to him, and so they've disabled him. They did it in the past with D.Va, they did it in the past with Soldier 76, I don't think it's a big deal. But while I'm on the training range, let me jump on Winston here, and you can see that Winston's bubble now has a health bar, which is pretty cool. So it's about time. Reinhardt's had a health bar for forever. When they added Orisa, they gave her one right away. And poor Winston has been without a health bar on his shield bubble since the game came out. Since before the game came out. Let me drop this right here. There you go. So now you can finally track the health of the bubble. It doesn't track the timer because it does disappear quite quickly. But hey, at least it's something, right? And the last undocumented change is actually pretty significant if you're interested in Overwatch tournaments, the Overwatch League, esports in general, that sort of stuff. So they redid the Spectator user interface. It looks a lot better. So this is the old version right here. And then this is the new version. And I'll overlap them a little bit so you can kind of see. Basically, they went and redid what the characters look like up on top. It's now a lot easier to see who the camera is focusing on because you can see the little white bars on the top and the bottom of the character. It also makes the character kind of pop out a little bit more, whereas on the older version, it was just that tiny little yellow arrow that kind of pointed to it. Now also, the ultimates are a lot easier to see. You know when the character is ready to use that ultimate and all that sort of stuff. Also, probably one of the biggest changes that I noticed is the Lucio change. So now, above all of the Lucio characters, you can see whether he is in the speed mode or if he is in the healing mode. Now, I didn't notice this for any of the other, like, buffs or debuffs or any sort of stuff like that. Everything else looked kind of normal, so I think this is the only change for that, but, I mean, it's a pretty nice little change. Overall, it just looks a lot cleaner. It's a lot easier to identify who you're actually watching. However, there's still a lot of problems with it, whereas there's a lot of excess audio that you simply don't need to hear. You don't need to hear every character making a little quip or joke or, you know, remark about this, that, or the other thing. You don't need to hear that stuff. The other thing is there really isn't any good indicator on who is using their ultimate. So yes, you can see the ult charge was brought up to full and it's ready to use, but once it gets activated, there's no, like, indicator showing that the character is using the ultimate, right? Like, there should be some sort of kind of, like, highlight or something saying, this is the character from this team that's using it. So this most definitely does not fix all of the problems with the spectator experience whenever you're watching one of these tournaments. There's still a ton of things that Blizzard needs to address, but at least this is a step in the right direction, so hopefully they continue to keep improving it. There's supposed to be some sort of, like, huge reveal for the spectator mode at BlizzCon, so if it's not this, then we'll have to wait and see, like, what it is, whether it's, like, new kinds of camera type stuff or what it is actually that they're changing. So that's everything undocumented and documented that was in the patch. I don't think that adds up to 1 GB. I really do think that there is something else that was in this patch that is simply not available yet. And we're just going to have to wait and see. It's probably not going to be revealed until BlizzCon. So what do you guys think about all this stuff? Let me know in the comments. Also, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of the new content. Also, don't forget to check out my Discord server. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram. The links for that stuff is down below. Thanks for watching. Remember, always blame the controller because it's never your fault. Also, special thanks to all my Patreon supporters for helping to make this all possible. If you'd like to see what kind of cool rewards you can get for supporting the channel, check the links on screen and down below.